Disclaimer, because some people needs to hear this more than one time. This video is just about playing the game without add-on, how it felt to play as if I was a new player that didn't wanna read guides. So there's a bit of impressions and feeling of the dungeons, but it's basically a try for the new add-on-less game. Thanks. Enjoy the video. Bye. I completed every dungeon in mythic difficulty, and I'll give you an insight on what I thought. It's mostly a point of view from someone that hasn't played the beta, so I don't know how bosses works. I didn't know, and I didn't want to look up any guide to kind of simulate being someone that is somewhat new to the game, doesn't know where to look, and just goes by feeling. I wanted to feel the dungeons and see how clear they were and how good they felt in general. So something catered more to the casual player, you know, not someone look at every guide, best route and everything else. I was the tank in every single one. So here's what I thought of them one by one. Then, all of three bosses were pretty easy, I'd say. The first boss, if you have a shaman or a DK, it's very helpful. Why the shaman? Because you have a totem for the poison removal, and with the DK you can just anti-magic shell and swipe up every single fungi. If the boss fight lasts too long, it may become an issue, so I'd classify this one as a DPS check. The second one was pretty stupid. You just deal damage, kill the adds, and then go in the snow when the snowstorm begins. The last one, very hard on the tank. I think this one is the one that hit me the hardest out of every boss in all dungeons, in all honesty. You have to help the lady not get killed by the bears and absolutely get behind the shield as a tank. Otherwise you're gonna perish on high mythic keys, obviously. Mythic 0 I could handle easily to stand in front of the bear while he was attacking, but again, was the hardest one. Magister Terres as my favorite last boss. This last boss is so fun, but let's go in order. First boss, nothing to say, just kill the thing, clear the room before you pull this guy, so you can have more space to, you know, go around. Just dodge stuff and remember to soak balls when he reaches 0 energy and he tries to recharge. For this guy, nothing, it was really easy to understand. You have a red circle, you go inside the barrier, and when he does the big damage AoE, you go inside the barrier again. Something that we've seen countless times. This boss, honestly, I couldn't understand shit. Again, I did not watch any guide, I did not read anything, because I try to be the most neutral player possible, the one that goes in and says, yeah, we ball it, let's go. Someone casual that doesn't dedicate that much time to the game and maybe wants to complete a boss in lower keys. This one was not easy to understand at all. I think you have to kill the barrier of the squids with the ray, you know, when the balls spawn. This one was really complicated. We killed it by sheer damage, honestly. I forced our hands a bit too hard on this one, so with the design, not very clear. Let's just say that, not very clear. Maybe really good once you know the mechanics, but as someone, again, that did not read anything or watched any guide, played it, nah. Last one is my favorite boss in every dungeon. Very complicated. It almost stayed too complicated for Mythic Plus. I feel like it's gonna be a big problem once the Mythic Plus come out and people pack this one. The best strategy we found, it's also one of the few bosses where we actually wipe. Because, again, we didn't know anything, so just went in with the normal dungeon difficulty knowledge, but as you know, it's not enough. We found this strategy. So, you have the main boss that is here in the middle, okay? And the room goes like this. So you come here on this side, okay, you enter from here, and the room is like this. It's a horrible circle, but whatever. Now, you're gonna have to position yourself in a cross. So, player 1, 2, 3, and 4. Where does the healer go? With the tank. Personally, we stayed here, so tank and the healer were here. And we were divided by some rays, because as soon as the boss starts, you know, rays of now, what do we have to do? I'm explaining it because that's what we understood. So the boss was very clear to understand. No one told us anything. You know from normal that there are balls that goes around and you have to like play volleyball with it. Very cool. And then you simply have a circle around you that leaves shit on the ground. So you just go out, tell your healer to dispel you. So 4 in this case, let's say, has the debuff. We all play melee, so we all stay at this range. Even the healer is like here. So when 4 has to get dispelled, he goes like here, calls for the healer to dispel, splot on the ground, and he can go back and do damage. For the 3 as well, he has to play a bit smarter, so he's gonna place the shit like here or here. It's pretty big, so you have to be careful about your positioning. The healer will stand like here in this case, as close as possible, so 3 can actually max range and maybe place it here. Shit on the ground doesn't last forever, so you don't need to actually make something beautiful out of it. Very cool boss though, very cool. My favorite, as I said. Mesa caverns. Like this quite a lot also, but the first boss was a bit bugged when I tried it. The bird stands directly on the traps on the ground. For some reason it didn't work. Pay attention to that, because there is a mechanic where at some point the bird just charges to one of the guys, to one of your teammates. There has to be a trap between the bird and the teammate. So the bird, when charges, gets stuck on the trap, but for us it didn't work, bugged. Anyway, we killed it very easily. Cool boss, crazy to say. This one, I'm a bit scared in Mythic Plus because of the phantoms that were following you. It wasn't very clear what to do with those. Not my favorite, honestly. Very cool indeed, but not my favorite. Died pretty easily. And the last one, just remember to not stand near the corners, because apparently at some point the boss does the smash on the tank, and if you're not in the middle of the room, you fly the fuck off. You don't have to stay in the middle of the room, but don't stay on the edges like I did. Just be careful on that. Murderer Row probably has the trash that is the hardest in every dungeon. Maybe it was because I was the lowest item level, I can't tell, but here they were hitting like crazy. For the first boss, it was easy to understand. Mechanics very similar to the normal version. You just kill nibbles and then burst on the boss. When the copies come out, try to stun them, interrupt them, whatever you can. Every CC works on the copies, so just destroy the copies, otherwise it's gonna be a pain in the ass for the healer. For the second one, pretty easy as well. We just didn't understand if we had to destroy every barrel or just the green one. I think that when you can destroy a barrel before the phase where you have to hide behind them, you only destroy the green ones, because those are not safe, you know. Before this boss there is an add, you only destroy the green ones, because those are not safe. Before this boss there is an add that has a cast that deals one-shot damage. The cast is a bit too fast in my opinion, because basically every one of our melee that did not have a movement ability in that moment died. This boss was hitting hard as hell though. Interesting mechanic. This is absolutely a DPS check. You have to kite it decently, exactly as the last boss, whereas in Mythic difficulty there is an Infernal that follows the tank, so you have to pay very close attention to that. So here is the room. The boss starts here, and the Infernal is here. This is the boss. At some point, she does a circle around every player. So we have the player 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And she does circles around them. So you have to stand close enough where you don't hit the people with your own circle. So, you know, you stand like this and like this. So you edge the other player with your circle, because this circle spawns imp. These guys have to die as fast as possible, as Vile Fiend as well. The Infernal will follow you. At some point, she does the portal thing where she throws the classic gateway of the Warlock. Classic gateway. And she goes the other way. In that case, I found very easy with the tank to do this. My route was this one. Pull the boss, the Infernal starts here, you move to this way. Okay, so you start to tank the boss here. This is something that I understood while playing the game. Again, for someone who may skip the video, I did everything without a guide, and I tried it as someone who may be new to the game, doesn't understand things, and tried with basic logic. So the Infernal here, I moved the boss in this way, okay, because I wanted to escape. Then we did all these soaking of the circle here, okay? We soak the circle, blah, 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 kill the imp. She did the portal not this way, but this way. And at that point, when she almost used the portal to move the other way, the Infernal was around probably here, okay? So I just stood on the side, like here, and waited for my whole team to move the other way. As soon as they moved, I jumped the portal in as well, and went the other way with the other part of the team that was already on this side. Then the Infernal obviously started to move this way, and as the Infernal comes to this way, you can just do the same thing and move like this, or like that, depending on where you have more space. It's a circle, so it's not perfect. You're never gonna land perfectly on the other side. So just choose the one that have more space to move, you know. And that's it. That was the boss. We have Nexus Point. In this one, I cheated a little bit, and now I'm gonna explain why. The first and the second boss were pretty easy to understand. Nothing crazy on the first boss going on, pretty easy to kill, nice one. On the second boss, just remember to don't look at the light, because otherwise you're gonna get blinded and you're gonna stop DPS. And that's bad, because when the boss gets hit by the blinding thing, it has an enormous like cut opening on the side, and you have to stay on the side. So if the boss is this thing, and the beam of light is here, and casts from here, okay, the cast is from here, you have to look that way, obviously. So you are here, you, the player, and you have to look that way so you don't get blinded. And then you position yourself inside of the beam, looking at the opening here. So you have to attack this point right here, everyone, because if you attack from this side, like you're a mage and you with frost mage, doesn't work. You don't have bonus damage. You have to blink, boom, blink, boom, and then you and then you have bonus damage. Next, last boss, and this is where I got the cheating. I had a player, in this case, in only this dungeon, I had a player that played the beta. And he told me that during the second phase, you see the difference? There's a phase where he spawns all the copies and blah blah blah. You have to interrupt the one that does not have the horns, you see the difference? First, I didn't notice, honestly. That's why I told you I was cheating. It's not that clear to see. It was pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. It was a pretty cool mechanic, but the horns were not that visible. So I don't know if it's my settings fault. There are kind of a low graphics settings. I don't know, make the horns bigger for every other model. Something that helps player understand the difference a bit more. Interesting though. Blinding Veil, the first bosses were killed in AoE without any problem. We didn't have any difficulty killing them. The Hunter, if I have to compare this boss to someone else, was very similar to Dinosaur in Balthazar. Third, Ruyan was a bit of a DPS check. Nothing too crazy here as well. We had a good amount of DPS, so it went down pretty easily. Last one, just be careful about the orbs and the adds and you should be fine, nothing too crazy. For now, this is probably the easiest dungeon we've done. I don't know if it was because it was the last one we did, so the item level was already a bit higher, but it was pretty easy. Void Scare Arena. First of all, the whole dungeon concept is very cool, but it was not very impactful. It wasn't like wow crazy like the Magister Terra's last boss. On the second one you have to be careful about the poison. And the third one was very easy as well. Nothing that I remember has to be said in this case. And the last one, Windrunner Spire, also one of my favorite dungeons. The first boss, stupid, very, very stupid, nothing difficult, just don't get distracted. This one punishes very, very hard, so just don't get distracted, don't get hit by the things on the ground. Pretty easy to understand, nothing crazy. This one, a bit of damage on the tank. The only thing that I have to note is this has the same mechanic version of Necrotic Wake. The big guy hooks the lady. Just that's the only thing that. And be careful with the spits on the ground. Try not to be obnoxious with your placing. Commander Crocul was actually pretty easy, a bit annoying for how it works. For every single melee, it's gonna be a pain in the ass and a lot in DPS. Very high loss on DPS. Just kill the heads when it starts to blade storm and you should be fine. And then with the last one, two mechanics that you have to keep in mind. First, don't waste your arrows. And what do I mean by waste your arrows? Don't walk on the arrows on the ground when you have the big circle. And don't walk on the arrows in general. Those arrows are necessary for when she does the big wind thing, and you have to jump. Again, something that we already have seen in various bosses. Very easy to understand boss. Again, well done, Blizzard. And these were the mythic difficulty dungeons of the new expansion. There wasn't one that I felt boring, you know. Pretty good feeling overall. Very good to do. No add-on required. Every single boss was very clearly designed with an intention, and you could understand it from the start, you know, what to do. You could figure it out yourself. But with the Gemellus, I don't know if it's the team, we were talking too much about something else, and we weren't focusing enough on the boss. But we struggled a lot on that one. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time. Remember to subscribe if you want, Twitch and YouTube. See ya!